are at the start of the Kintyre Way, 100 miles down the Kintyre Peninsula, crisscrossing it a bit, as you probably won't be able to see on the map, down to Campbelltown and then round to Macgrahanish. So this is Tarbert. It's a nice wee place. I'm going to talk about it a wee bit more once we're up on top of that hill over there, where the remnants of the castle are. But yeah, good day to start a walk. Onwards and upwards. So this is Tarbert. There are in fact about 10 Tarberts in Scotland and another 2 in Ireland. The name actually means a place that you can drag a boat, probably from Gaelic, possibly from Norse, depending on which source you believe. Possibly from Norse into Gaelic and then into English. And this gets you from Lochvine, or the Firth of Clyde, over to the other side of Kintyre. And we are very much on the north side of Kintyre at the moment. Tarbert's a nice wee place, very popular for yachts, but also a bit of history. We look round here, we've got Tarbert Castle. So there's been a fortification here since about the 1200s. Robert the Bruce actually built quite heavily in about 1320, I think. And what we're looking at now is a townhouse, well, tower house, that was built by James IV in the 1600s, so a lot more recent. There's bits and pieces of Bruce's works that you can kind of see scattered about the place, but most of this is considerably more recent. Obvious place to build a castle, really. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, wee bit of history back from a bit before that as well. In the year 1098, when all of this area was still contested between the Norse and the Scots, there was a bit of an agreement reached between Malcolm III, the King of Scots, and Magnus Barefoot, a marvellous name, and at the time the King of Norway. Now Magnus was a bit of a Viking. He actually did travel a lot and do the raids and didn't just sit in Norway. And part of the agreement was that anything that Magnus could get his boat around with the rudder down came under his sphere of influence, and everything that he couldn't get a boat around came under Malcolm's. So Magnus took his boat and had it dragged from the sea over there, overland into Tarbert with the rudder down, standing on the boat, and thereby claimed Kintyre to be an island, which it nearly is, in fairness. But yeah, so this fell under the Norse sphere of influence for quite a long time. Right up until we get, well, quite a long time, really, only 20-30 years until Somerled started to show up, but you need to look at my other videos, which I'll post here, and put a link down there. The Somerled videos will tell you a wee bit more about that period. But this is a good place to start a walk, and a lovely day to do it in. We'll just have a wander around. My marvellous camera assistant here. Yeah, just pad round. Don't even need to have me in the shot anymore. I'll still pick up the voice anyway. So yeah, this is Tarbert, and we're going where the camera's pointing, roughly. Quite a lot of hills. Hilliest bit of the walk. But there should be some nice views over to Arran as we go through the day, so I'll bring you back when there's something interesting to look at. Cheers! Come for a walk, they said. It'll be fun, they said.
Fucking torture.
Well, we've been walking for about 20 minutes and it's all been uphill. So the first bit of the Kintyre Way is up a big bloody hill. I think it gets to about 350 metres, which is about the same, give or take, as Claonaig on the West Highland Way, which comes as a bit of a shock. But it's also bloody hot today. It's probably about 20 degrees. So that's a Scottish heat wave, that. So yeah, let's have a look at the view. We're kind of looking up Lochvine. Technically, I suppose at the top it's Loch Gilp, because that's Loch Gilphead up there. And following it round, way down, and can't yet, but we should soon be able to see Arran down there. So yeah, quite a good day to start. So the first few miles have been pretty relentlessly uphill, but the weather's still good. Just stopping for a wee look at the view. Kind of opened up over there. You can see right over to Jura, which is the 2 hills in the background, normally known as the Paps of Jura, because maps get made by lonely men. round to where we came from. So as I say, pretty much relentlessly uphill, but round here I'm hoping we'll start heading down towards Skipness and hopefully view the barn. So let's see what we get to. Okay, so it's about 4:30 on day one of the Kintyre Way, and I've just bid farewell to my friend and colleague Jane, who was walking the first bit with me for 10 miles. And we parted company in Skipness, which is what you can kind of see behind me. Very small village, wee bit of historical interest. Don't know how well this is going to show up on the camera, but over in the headland over there, it's Kilbrannan Chapel, which has been a chapel there for a very, very long time. Originally attributed to St Columba, I think. Crops up everywhere, does Columba. And also Kilbrannan, Skipness Castle over there as well, which I don't know anything about, and I didn't want to detour to explore today, because I am actually suffering a bit. I was quite ill last week, not corona, and I've kind of put off the start date for this. Well, 4 days, so I'm 4 days later than I'd planned, because I'm just not feeling 100%, and I'm kind of already feeling it 10 miles in that I'm not exactly at peak fitness, but we'll see what happens there. So let's have a wee look around Skipness. Was a village shop, but it's shut. There's not a lot of shops in the Kintyre Way. It's something to be aware of. You need to carry everything. Now this looks kind of like, you would be forgiven for thinking that I'm actually on the west coast looking out over the sea, but I'm not. I'm on the east coast of the Kintyre Peninsula looking at the Isle of Arran. The mainland is actually behind the Isle of Arran, so we will be on both sides of the peninsula as we go down, but for the moment we're on the east for the next few miles, and then heading back over, be on the west side for tomorrow. So the plan at the moment then is to get another couple of miles to a wee place called Claonaig. Not much there, really nothing actually, it's a ferry terminal. The ferry goes from Claonaig to Arran, and from there up into the hills, and then find a suitable place to camp for the night. I'd originally planned to go about 17 miles. I don't think I'm going to make it that far today, but we'll see what transpires. The other concern I've got at the moment is one that crops up now and again, is just water. There's not been an awful lot of places to get water, but I'd imagine there'll be more of that as we go. So I'm rambling now, so I'm shut up and keep walking. Take it easy. Hello again. So about 12 miles in, maybe a bit more, don't know. You can see behind me the ferry from Claonaig to Lochranza in Arran. It's bloody hot. And I'm just planning on doing a couple of miles more and then finding somewhere to camp before it gets too late. I've been wild camping before, many years ago, somewhere over there, and it'd be quite nostalgic if I could find that place again. It wasn't quite as far as I was planning on going, but today's taken it out of me. It's been a lot of up and down, and it's been very hot. And to be honest, I haven't been able to find all that much water, so yeah, maybe an early camp would be the way to go. But we'll see what transpires over the next hour or so anyway. There's a deer down there. It's looking at me, but I don't know if it's going to decide to move or not, because you probably can't see it. Oh, there we go. Excellent. I have found somewhere to stop for water, which is a mercy, and filled up my water bottles, waiting on the purification tablets doing something. Then I'm going to basically camel up on half that water and refill the bottles. As you can probably tell, I kind of dunked my head. It's been a very hot day. So I thought I'd take the time, because I haven't talked much, certainly not as much as usual anyway, just to say a wee bit about the Kintyre Way. It is 100 miles from Tarbert to Machrihanish. The Kintyre Peninsula itself is not 100 miles long, so it zigzags a bit. Today we're on the east coast, tomorrow the west, and then over to the east again, and it kind of loops round the east, round the south, and back up the west again at the end. So yeah, I don't have any set plans about where I'm going. It's not like my last West Highland Way trip when I was, you know, had accommodation booked or campsites booked or whatever. This time it's just see where I end up really at the end of the day. And I'm getting close to the end of the day now, and I haven't gone as far as I would have wanted, but it's been a really hot day. I had a colleague with me who was walking maybe a wee bit slower than I normally would. That might have been a mercy actually. And yeah, I wasn't fit at the start of this. I was just sort of recovering from an illness, so I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it today at the, I don't know, 13 mile mark or whatever I'm at the moment. It's not far at all, you know, but as first days go, it's been quite hilly, and I've got to say it's been really pretty. It's been much prettier than the first day of the West Highlands, much prettier than all of the Great Glen Way, if truth be told. So I don't know what the rest of it's going to be like. Well, I do know bits and bobs because I've been down Kintyre before, and most of it's quite pretty. But yeah, it's been, if you're coming for the scenery and you get the weather, you'll certainly get that. And I've picked the quietest road in the world, and there's a bloody car coming. The plan is to do this in 2 bits, really. First bit's going to be a 4-day trip to Campbelltown, then back to Oban for, well, I don't know how long actually, until I can find the time to come and do the last couple of days. Originally I'd planned to do it over the course of a week, but the illness kind of put back the departure date a bit, and I don't really have time to do that now. So 66 miles in the first bit, and then the other third when I get a chance to do it. But obviously for you guys, probably it's going to be more or less seamless. But what else to say? This is part of a fundraiser for the organisation I work for, an addictions charity called We Are With You. I will have a fundraiser link at the bottom. If you can spare a couple of quid, it would be welcome. We do quite a lot of good work, but we're limited by how much money we have. The more money we have, the more good work we can do. So, that's the idea behind that. What else can I say? Nothing much really. There was stuff I was going to say that I've totally forgotten. Need to get my head in the game. But I'm just going to keep going a bit and find somewhere to camp, hopefully, before it gets too late. So the other question would be, why the Kintyre Way? And part of the reason is because it's in Argyll, and I live in Argyll. It's a logical step to come and do the Kintyre Way at some point. One of the other reasons though is because nobody does it. I kind of wanted to ascertain why. I think part of the reason is at the start in Tarbert is yeah, part of the reason that the start in Tarbert isn't really anywhere near any population centres. You know, it's about well, it'll be about a 2.5 hour bus journey from Glasgow, so I guess maybe that inhibits it slightly. One of the other reasons is that it's not very well developed. I heard when I was looking into it that it's not very well marked. That's not true, or at least it's not been true today. It is well marked. Difficult to get lost. Not impossible, I'm sure, but difficult. So that's not really an issue. But the other thing is, there's not really much accommodation. I couldn't find any, so I'm camping every night, which is not ideal for me because I've got to recharge cameras and stuff. But it's what it is. And also, eating places, not much. Not even very many shops, truth be told. The shop in Skipness, a few miles back there, was closed for good. Shop in Tane Lone I might get to tomorrow, it's closed this year. There's maybe one shop I'll get to tomorrow if I go slightly off the way. It might be open, and it's a petrol station. So yeah, you've got to carry everything, basically. So this rucksack's heavier than I would like it to be. But when I was looking at YouTube to, you know, do what I do and watch everybody else's videos on the Kintyre Way, there aren't any. There's a couple of really old ones, but they're mostly just still photos. So, kind of seemed worthwhile to come out, walk it, do the video, stick it on YouTube. Maybe some more people will do it. I think that if more people did the Kintyre Way, it would be better supported, because the local people would think, aha, there's money to be made here, whereas at the moment there's not. So I don't know, bit of a catch-22, isn't it? Nobody wants to support it because there's not enough walkers. It's not worth supporting because there's not enough walkers. The walkers ain't going to come because it's not supported. Anyway, just getting to a wee bit that's less woody. So yeah, that's Arn over there. Very mountainous and stuff, as you can see. I'd like to climb some of those at some point. I say that, I'm too lazy. And then sort of panning around, and then the eastern side of the Kintyre Peninsula. Don't know where I'm going to camp tonight. Just topped up the water, so that's good, but I'm still going to need a water source so I can cook. It's just really a question of trying to find somewhere out of the way near a water source, and I'll come back once I find somewhere. Good morning, and as you would guess by that greeting, it is the start of day 2. Day 1, I didn't do much video. Maybe I'll do a bit more today, I don't know, depends how I feel. But certainly day 1 ended quite abruptly, and it ended with me saying a few things about the Kintyre Way, most notably that it was well marked. Shouldn't have said that, because at the time that I said that, I'd actually missed a turning, and I walked for about 2 miles more into some very nice farmland in Kintyre. It's lovely. It's the wrong way though. Eventually I realised I hadn't seen a marker for a long time, and had to backtrack. There's no trail map for the Kintyre Way, or at least not that I could find, so it's just really working on the basis of a guidebook, which is mostly written instructions and some basic maps. But anyway, there was no markers at the turn off, so backtracked my way to that turn off, and lo and behold, it was actually a car park that I'd been in before many years ago, because there's a trail leading down to the shore and a good campsite, well, good camp spot, wild camping spot, which is where I am. I had to hack my way down through the trail. Looks like nobody else has been here for about 10 years, but yeah, let's have a wee looky. So yeah, you know, Arn again. We're heading away from that today, and then what's left of my campsite, which really just the Trangia needs to go back in the bag and the tent, and then off ski. So I'm just sitting with a coffee just now, and have this, pack up the rest of the stuff and head off. Don't know where today's going to take me to. It's not going to take me as far as I had originally planned, but then yeah, I hadn't judged for the fact that I'm not as fit as I would like to be, but that's because I was ill last week. It's like, I don't know what I was expecting, you know. I had some sort of virus and I was asleep for about 3 days, and then a few days later I decided it'd be a good idea to go and do a 100-mile walk. Not the best, but we'll keep going. Today takes me anyway to Claonaig, where there's a small shop, so I'm not expecting much from that. Maybe get a wee bit of a can of Coke or, you know, something, sandwich if they've got them. And then down the coast, west coast of the peninsula to towards Tainlone. Not much in Tainlone at the moment. We'll get some nice views over to Jura and Gia, I think. Bits of that path are tidal, so I'll need to be slightly aware of that. But yeah, that will be the plan for today, and I don't know where today will end. Originally I'd planned to get a few miles past Tainlone, but that's not going to happen, so I'll just need to keep my eye out. We'll see what the day brings. I don't want to I don't want to quit this walk, because, well, partly because it's a fundraiser, and partly because I don't particularly like quitting these things. So I'm just going to see where each day takes me, really, and see what happens. But I'll be back later once I'll probably be back once I've fought my way back up to where the turnoff should have been that I missed, just so that anyone does do this, they can see where that turnoff is. Back in a bit. Right, just to give you an idea, when I said there's not much of a path down to this campsite, there was quite a lot of sweary words yesterday trying to do this, but then I was knackered. There might be quite a lot of sweary words on the way back up as well. This is the good bit, there's actually a path here. So, yeah, this isn't really indicative of the Kintyre Way as far as I know. Although, maybe it will be. This is just a detour to get into a place I knew I could pitch in a degree of solitude and peace. Obviously that's the case because nobody's been down here for a very long time. So it's basically a question of wandering through the ferns, the bracken, following what may once have been a path. Whew. Picnic bench. Yeah, alright. I'll be dead by the time I get back up to the road. I turn this camera off because it's going to bugger the gimbal otherwise. Good times. Alright, so a bit of bad news for me and bad news for this video series, although it will be continued. But yeah, I'm feeling about as bad as I was last week when I was in bed for most of a couple of days. So whatever I had, it's not going away. And it would be kind of nuts to continue and try and get another, I don't know, 85 miles done when I probably should be in bed. So I'm going to finish this just now, just by rounding up. Now, this is a straightforward road that you follow after Claonaig, and you're coming up here, and what you don't know is that you're supposed to turn up here, right? But there is absolutely no signs to suggest that. Looks like there may have been a car park sign here once, but it's long gone. So it's very easy to keep going there, which is what I did yesterday for a couple of miles. Now, just as a heads up, if you do get to here and you're looking to try and get to my little camping spot from yesterday, the path, such as it is, goes down here just before the bridge. Like I say, not terribly easy to find, but it does take you down to a nice wee camping spot. But yeah, there's nothing at all here to suggest that this is the way that you're supposed to go for the Kintyre Way. No blue posts, no boards, no nothing. Now, I haven't actually been very far up here. My bag's just dumped around the corner where there's a handy bench. But it would suggest that you're supposed to be going this way. Now, I don't know if maybe the local landowner isn't big in the Kintyre Way and has removed all signs, or if it's just attrition over the years. But this, I'm fairly sure, is the way. Well, it's the way. Although I'm not really inclined to follow it up too much further, because it's really the only option and it must be that way. So this is where I'll be starting from when I get back to do this. So as it is, I've got a couple of miles to walk back to Claonaig and a couple of buses to catch to get me home. And that seems like the the only option at this point, which I'm not happy about. But I'll come back and I'll finish it. So this will be part one, the first day in a bit, and I'll probably stick that up, but parts 2 and 3 will be whenever I can get time to come back and do it. Hopefully not too long, although my next little trip is somewhere more exotic, COVID permitting. So yeah, next video might be from somewhere entirely different, but we'll see. But yeah, I'll come back if there's anything to show you on the way back, although I doubt there will be, so probably that's it for now. Cheers.